Hey guys, I just have to do this super rough video. No, no sound equipment, no nothing. Just the mobile phone. Just have to just word vomit, spew what's going on in my head. The excitement, the love of pro wrestling, beautiful storytelling in this just amazing medium. I have to share because night two of WrestleMania, after a very not so wonderful night one, night two came. It was wonderful. It was a fantastic show, but it ended in an absolute masterclass of pro wrestling. Every element of what makes a truly great pro wrestling match on the biggest of stages. CM Punk and Roman Reigns illustrated that. I predicted this to I was having this conversation with my brother. I said it will be a masterclass in how you tell a story in a match and how you pick and choose when to do spots to get the biggest reactions and how minuscule details can enhance a match. And it was everything I loved about pro wrestling. And it was all of that and then some incredible near falls. The wrestling itself was crisp. It was brilliant. 34 minutes. It felt like an absolute epic. And it was, like I said, it was a masterclass in storytelling. Two guys who absolutely hated one another. And that was the story told. Punk and Reigns did everything they could with visceral anger and, just spite for their opponent. They were vicious. They took every trick and they stretched the rules as much as they could. And then in the most just epic way, that little nugget that Punk is old. Punk doesn't have the youth, the physical prime of, like Roman Reigns is in. Punk's not there. And when he lifted Punk for the Roman for the GTS right at the end, after 30 odd minutes of a match, he collapses because he can't. He didn't have it. He was potentially too old, and it was just all the little details, an absolute masterclass. I thoroughly enjoyed this match. Like I said, it was from the entrances, the promo packages, everything was just, it was why pro wrestling is, in my opinion, the most wonderful art form. Storytelling, I love, do my MA in screenwriting and I love film and all that kind of stuff. But all of those intricacies of, reincorporation, paying off, the promise of the premise, when we talk about screenwriting, there was the promise of two men who absolutely despise one another and will do whatever they can to get the better of their opponent. That was the promise, and it was absolutely delivered, and we got that. And there were so many twists and turns, and we got it in a way we didn't expect. And masterful. That's why, for all the excellence that we see around as far as pure technical pro wrestlers, like, not that these guys aren't technical, they're brilliant, but the Will Ospreays, the Kenny Omegas, all this kind of stuff, particularly style you see in AEW, and that's wonderful. But when you can do this, and you can do so much with, in theory, some way, so little, sometimes, that's the true genius of this business of pro wrestling, in my opinion. And I think that's why this kind of match, for me, is the epitome of pro wrestling and what it is at its absolute finest. So, CM Punk, Roman Reigns, thank you very much for reminding us why we love this business, why we love this form of storytelling, this art form. Pro wrestling is art. Thank you, CM Punk. Thank you, Roman Reigns. If you haven't seen the match already, go and watch it. Masterpiece.